So, yeah, she is. It's like she might have seen an inch or something. This is like 6 or 7 inches. Yeah.
How's Justin doing?
He's doing okay.
More brains than us coming out tonight.
What?
Take it easy.
Yeah, slow down.
Coming out tonight.
Relax.
No.
Hello, Gloria.
Just so everyone knows, there are masks available at the front if anyone wants them. There's a lot of COVID and flu going around. I'm recovering from a cold, so that's why I'm covering myself. I don't want anyone else to get my cold. But we did give Roy some masks. If anyone wants them.
I've been looking at mine, they're so old, I'm getting rubber rot now. So,
Are you gonna outlive them or not, girl? That's what I would think. I'm gonna make it through these, or I don't know if I knew it and it's not. Put it off.
Get it fixed. It'll be a good old.
I hope so. My kids are tired of listening to it.
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We need a young person in this village to shovel. Like something like.
I'm fine. How
We're
are
just
you?
waiting for Jasmine. She's coming.
Good holidays.
She is coming? Okay.
No problem. Yeah, that's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nice. Yeah. And it's so, yes.
Larry and Winifred are off on their vacation.
When did they leave?
Yesterday, last night they were in Santa Barbara. From Santa Barbara, they go to Hawaii and then Fiji Islands.
And they're 3 months, right?
4 months. 4 months.
4 months.
4 months. I can't imagine.
No. Man.
With the same person in the room with you. That could be a little bit of divorce with the
4 months. Ship full.
Yeah, it's very tough.
Yes. No, it's not. Doesn't matter.
He asked it. I know, he told me. She kept saying no.
Sí.
He said, I wouldn't put a big crazy. Yeah. Once in a lifetime. Exactly.
I was just gonna say, going there.
Hello, Seth. Hello, Ann.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, by fundraising, can I ask you this question here? By fundraising, do you mean grants? Or you mean fundraising?
Fundraising. Fundraising, yes.
Agenda.
Oh, yes.
We need one more person. Who's coming? There it is.
You know Ralph Dunstan? Yeah, he died, he was. Just very nice man.
Oh, so that picture before. Oh, yeah, he doesn't know that yet. Yes, he does. Oh, yes, yeah. What do you want to know?
I haven't committed yet because I may be going away for a month or so, but I don't know if I'm going to get. So, once I know that, then. I think he was gonna do a video over.
Yes,
something
yes,
like
that I know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have him just drop this
Yeah.
note so you can see it. And if you come, I can just do one.
It will just be.
I'll figure it out. Try to get you inside.
No, if I'm around, I'm coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you said this.
Sí. Sí, son 16 años. 16 años.
My sister said that there were 3 PC high school students. I don't know which way they were going. And one was hospitalized and the other 2 died in 2 different ways. One car and happened at 8:07 this morning. And when I went down to Kingston to go to work this afternoon across the road, they were just closing 28 Route 9 vehicles in Phoenicia. It was maybe closed and then we come out just before the ITS. Yes, yes. So there was 3 high school students from Kingston High School. One of them was in the hospital and the other 2 died. It must be, I would assume it's one car. But that's all the 3 men said was that it was, you know, the students.
Okay. All right, so we'll do,
Miguel,
Present.
Stewart's absent, Sam,
present.
Aaron's not here, and Jasmine here.
Okay. And we're gonna do our monthly pledge of allegiance, everybody, please. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag
of
of the United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with
justice
liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We're gonna start with announcements, and it's not on the agenda, but I just want to remind everybody that every month we put our agenda at the library, and we hand it to one of the clerks at the post office for them to hang it. So it's at the post office, and we also post it at the new village office. That's where the agenda is, just so that everybody knows. As always, the meetings, except when there is a problem, the meetings are every second Monday of the month, 6 p.m. and it's here, unless we decide to change it somewhere else. But until then, this is where we meet every month, 6 p.m. And just so that everybody knows, we finally did the complete move, 100%, from the village clerk office here to the new village office at 492 Main Street, Depot Street and Main Street. So the move is complete. We just finished remodeling the old village clerk's office for the new CEO for Carl's office. The only thing that we need to do is bring all the furniture over and connect the computers, the internet, and you'll be running within the next couple of weeks. So those are the announcements that we have. And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the prior minutes for December 19th, please.
Motion to approve.
I second.
Thank you. And then we move to the reports. And once again, we have the wastewater treatment plant. We get these reports every month from the Cedar Woods, which is our sewer water contractors. So far, everything is within compliance, everything is within the safe service. The only thing that we also, and we mentioned this before, the furnace is broken at the wastewater treatment plant, and that we're working on that. As far as our monthly report, as far as service and operations, everything is working the way it's supposed to. Code enforcement officer reports, permits, and stuff like that. We will have him next month. Once again, we're finalizing the move, so therefore we don't have those reports as of yet. Our financial reports are still within budget. We're still operating on a safe environment as far as the money goes. And then I repeat myself on all businesses. We're working on still getting the quotes from different contractors for the boilers for the wastewater treatment plant, and also the furnace for the Department of Public Works, which also is acting up. It's not working properly. So Corky and John at Cedar Woods, they're working on getting quotes, more quotes. We have a couple of them, but they're a little bit high, so we'd like to get a few more. Let's see. And then we finally got our contracts for the fire department. And also we have their operating budget, which I would like to make a motion to approve the operating budget for the fire department.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. So Jasmine and Miguel. And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the fire department contracts for Halcott and for the town of Middletown.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Okay. And we also are looking, we already spoke to one of the, to replace the trees that were cut down. And hopefully we can get the proper trees that to be planted where the ones that were knocked down. We're looking to get trees that are, that do not go beyond the power lines, the utility lines, and that do not break the sidewalks, stay within their tolerance. So we're looking into quotes with that. We have John Blish is working on that. Cascade Forest will be providing a quote for that as well. And then we got to move and see who we're gonna get to replace the sidewalk that was damaged for the tree across the street. So that'll be another quote that we have to get to replace and make that sidewalk safe. Fire hydrants, we have one that is.
May I ask some questions?
Can you wait until we get to questions, please? Fire hydrants, we're moving to replace the one by, we gotta get the quote for the one by the synagogue on Wagner Avenue, by the pool. One of those is not working, so we have to get companies and proposals to replace that. The one that we have by Main Street coming down on Brush Ridge Road and Main Street, the leak was repaired, but the fire hydrant was not replaced. And the reason why is because at the time, our water guy, Jim Buchan, he had one fire hydrant, and therefore he didn't order a new one. He had, he thought it was going to be the right one. Happens to be that when they came to install the one that he had on hand, it was too small. So we need to buy the proper size fire hydrant. So we are working on quotes for that, all of that, those items that I just mentioned. And then we received a letter from Robert Albertson. Thank you, Bob, for the Memorial Day. So we shared that letter, thank you. And as always, this has been a tradition. It's already 16 years, over 16 years, I think, right?
It's longer than that, but it's
Yeah.
16 years since I've been involved with it.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer than that. But once again, we are looking forward to that day. And as before, the village is providing the request that you requested. Liability, I spoke to Billy Haynes, our waste management fellow. And as every year, he's gonna be volunteering his time to do the cleanup. I'm meeting with the fire department on Wednesday to get the people at the barricades to have, at least, we're gonna try to have at least 4 people,
Okay.
2 and
Yeah,
2.
Pete Gallo has really helped us out in the past, and he's usually gathered up his lieutenants as needed.
Okay, very well, good to know, because I spoke to,
That's in the past, but it's always great that you.
that's good that you mentioned that, because then instead of going to Todd, I'll go to God, hands on,
Okay.
you know, get it done
So,
quicker. So, so we don't have, again, we thank you, and the Memorial Day is, as we all know, for all the businesses, for the village. It's a good thing to happen, because that's when we see a lot of people. You know, I wish we had more things like that.
When weather permits, we've had thousands of people, and it's
Yes,
just a lot of good time
yes.
by everybody involved. It's been a great tradition, and it's helped out and brought so much awareness to all the different organizations within the village and those surrounding the village that the village takes part in.
Without a doubt, you know, that's a day for everybody, children, elderly, you name it.
I would just like to encourage the village board there and board that, you know, however we can improve upon it, or how we can be inclusive upon it, you know, ideally, we want to be totally all-inclusive, anyone that wants to participate. And we've been doing it for so many years. We have so many people contacting us already that they want to line up that weekend and they want to make sure we're doing it.
Good.
So
Good.
I think we're in for another good year.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes, and like you said, weather permitting, it will be a great day.
Mhm.
Thank you, Rob. So, and then we're moving on to fundraising. We have no fundraising at this time. So we're gonna do, before I move on to that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do a motion to approve the permission for Memorial Day Street Fair approval. Okay, and then again, there's no fundraising at this time. And yes, we open the floor to the questions.
So we're now in a public session.
Yes,
All right.
yes, I am.
So I'm speaking on behalf of Lifetime First as the chair of the Environment and Beautification. And I also address you as the Director of Development for Friends of Deck Commercial Plaza. That is a park in New York City, considered the gateway to the United Nations. That it turns out has the largest forest of trees anywhere in Midtown, East Side Manhattan. And so trees are near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure they're near and dear to all of us. So when the trees got cut down, ripples went through the community. We were all kind of taken aback, and then those stumps, yay, as high as a toddler, kind of also raised questions. And then the shattered limbs along not just on the side of the power lines, but on the other side. And I mean, all of this will give us one cause. And so as the emails went back and forth and different people came and talked at the town meeting, I said, we really need to come together about a tree policy and think long term, because when you plant a tree, you want it to live out with you. And so we're planting trees for the future. And when you choose that tree, a lot goes into it, and you want to have a good consultant like Orion Trapani. You want to have your bids coming in, but you shouldn't rush into it, and you must make room for those tree roots to grow, the size of the tree bed. So when you're considering the sidewalk, you also have to consider the cuts for the trees, because you want it all to be uniform, and you want those roots to have room to grow. And you have to choose a tree that will work with your sidewalk. So you want to go into it with the right people around you and make the right decision. And then take care of your tree, because a lot of trees die in their first 2 years. And you'll see these tree bags sometimes where people can water them. And having tree stewards that are volunteers is a very good idea. Just keep your eye on that one tree. Like the librarian said, you know, where is that tree that I loved so much when it came into bloom? Well, she would be the steward for the next tree that gets planted. So that we all have a sense of our trees, because trees spell wealth, trees spell beauty. Not only that, they will help your stormwater so your culverts don't fill up. So you don't want that tree to be a menace. And you don't want the beetles that take a hike in the trick crates of Asia and come over here and devastate entire neighborhoods and forests of trees. And so choosing the right tree is a process. And then working on your sidewalk idea at the same time, so that you're thinking tree, sidewalk, how is this going to work? And making those cuts is very important.
I agree.
And so I'm leaving with you this advice, which is handy, from the Bartlett Tree Research Labs. Now, they're the guys in New York City, big urban communities talk to. They do the research, because there's always a new problem for a tree, whether it's the Asian longhorn beetle, some fungus, this, that. They have their enemies. So there's a huge body of research, and we need to all work together on this.
Thank you, Ann.
And I wanted to ask you about these shattered limbs. How did that happen? you know, the cuts on the side of the road? Why? Yeah, but who did?
Okay, those were made by the town of Middletown, and the reason why is because we had to clean up all the, for safety purposes, for people to walk, we did some cleaning all around it. You know, make sure that there's more visible. People was complaining they couldn't see, so.
Well, it looks very scary, and it does cause the tree a great deal of harm when you don't do a clean cut near the ground, near the, yeah, I mean, we all know that. And so I would not, I would advise you against allowing those people to do that.
Well, you know, and as far as the village goes, every homeowner within the village is supposed to take care of their own trees. When you walk on the sidewalk, if there's bushes or trees, the homeowner is supposed to take care of that. When the homeowner doesn't take care of that, then, you know, it's not safety for the people that is walking on the street. Common sense.
But what
So,
did you
hold on.
think? What did
Don't
you
get-
think
no,
when
wait.
you saw that?
Let me
Carol?
finish. So then people has to walk on the road. We don't want that.
I
So we
understand.
encourage people to work on your, you know, trim your bushes, trees, branches, so that when people's walking on the sidewalks, they can walk freely. So we worked together with Town of Middletown. So they came around and started cleaning to make more room, make more visible paths. Summer comes and then we're gonna encourage the homeowners to take care of their, you know, what
Well,
I just
I
mentioned.
sure wouldn't want the trees in front of my house to look like that. And not only that, branches and big debris would fly into people's windows. I mean, it's really not the right way to take the job. And if I were you, I would figure out something else.
Okay.
Which brings me to fundraising.
Very well.
Peg talked about this community being formed so that she can put in really good grant proposals. I am happy to serve on that committee, but we need to move to get it together so that we're filling in the blanks so she can get these big chunks of money, because a couple years back, when I was doing grant research, I saw, oh, the sidewalks of Wagner Avenue got fixed up, and also Ryan Trapani planted some trees there in the park. And so that was part of, like, in other words, sidewalks are a big part of grants. We need to be on that, we need to be working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
And please don't let no shattered limbs. Don't do that again.
We'll keep that, we'll make, no, thank you, Ann. Anybody else? Vicky?
Yes, I just want to add to what Ann said, apropos the shattered limbs. I think you have to go back and you have to clear cut all of those limbs, because those trees are gonna get diseased. They're gonna start dying and you're gonna have bigger problems.
Okay.
I did say that will cause the tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you have to, whoever did this, and what they did was an abomination.
Mhm.
It was not a clear cutting. It was just vandalism. And what I don't understand is, across the street from me, there were no tall trees. There were beautiful lilac bushes. They just ripped them out. What was the purpose of that? I mean, does anybody think? And why did they rip off my branches? When I was having my porch done, the guys cut the limbs so the trucks could come in and out and there would be no problem. Yet whoever did this came on my property and ripped up limbs off of my trees and my neighbor's trees.
Okay, let me find out about that, Vicky. I'll find out about it and then we'll talk about it next month.
All right.
Next. Gloria?
The stumps that were left, they're maybe about 4 feet high, and they're just so ugly,
Mm-hmm.
just so awful.
We're looking into taking care of those, Gloria.
So you're gonna cut them down?
Somebody's gonna come down and take care of the whole thing. Yes,
Before the spring?
yes, yes, yes.
Was anybody consulted, like an arborist or the licensed first or anybody know what's gonna happen? Nobody knew what's gonna happen.
Before we knock this down?
Yeah,
No. The whole idea was trim them down. That was the whole idea, below the power
yeah, but
line.
was anybody consulted? It's the
No.
main part of the village, you know, the trees. numerous people should have been consulted.
Well, I can tell you this, and when I walked along there, at first I was appalled and shocked. But then, as I looked at the tree and the root and how they're literally like a projectile out of the earth, these trees weren't planted right to begin
Well,
with.
that's fine, but
Don't
I'm
have
saying,
enough
it should,
And so when you go into it the second time, that's when you wanna get it right.
you can't
And
do.
it was when the
Okay, I'm not
first
done
plan
with my-
came
I'm
back
not
in
done yet.
2000.
Depending on me. You
In
gotta
2000
consult people on that. That's a very important part of the village.
Well, John,
Elmer.
when we first did this, like I said again, we were planning just to trim it down, not cut them.
Well, then,
Hold on. So when NICEAG and the DPWs of Fleischmann started cutting them down, they found out they were rotted and they were moldy.
yeah, you're pretty good.
So,
We're not.
You know-
You can look at the stumps are clear,
They're all
there's
clear.
no rot.
In fact, they will go back to where they are, but that's a very good tree that actually planted.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
actually,
they
front
are-
stumps have to be cut back.
Yeah,
And you'll still
but
get some
going back
conversation
and to the
itself.
beginning of the conversation, when these were planted and the study was made, what, that was over 20 years ago. The whole idea was for them not to grow too tall and
Well, then you never get a
not
shade tree.
expand over the
No
sidewalks.
bush.
But like you said,
Who
it
wants
was,
bushes in a-
now we're gonna look into making those better, right? It basically, we're looking into people that knows about the trees. Yes.
I've worked in several towns on tree plants, town of Sopus, found out Kingston. Many mistakes are made
Thank you,
when
Ann.
they're
Thank you.
planting.
Thanks a lot.
One thing you do not want, businesses don't want, people don't want. They don't want a bush out in front of their business that blocks the view into the business, blocks view of pedestrians. You want shade trees. You gotta plant them correctly, you gotta get the right species.
Mm-hmm.
These are the frameworks for towns.
Yes.
How long ago were these trees planted? About 15 years ago or so?
No, it gotta be
20
like,
years ago?
yeah, 20
And
years
they-
ago.
You know, so it's good, unless you spend a lot of money, big money, or you get big grants, it's gonna cost a lot of money to replace these things. People don't want bushes out in front. That's what's in the way, bushes, not trees. Now, as far as NICEAG is concerned, sure, it has to be a factor taken into consideration, but you gotta check both sides of the street. Maybe the other side of the street is a better place to put tall trees. But you need these shade trees. This is what brings tourists, brings businesses,
Mhm.
the entire town, the whole beautification of these towns. And these towns are nothing without these trees.
Okay,
And the worst thing you can do is to go through with a brush hog along the sides and just, that's exactly what introduced disease. These trees were not diseased. Go to Uptown Kingston where the old Dutch church is. All those big trees up there in that cemetery are the same type of tree that's growing right out here. They're beautiful trees. You make space for trees. These are of value. It's a piece of concrete needs to be cut out, you cut it out, you provide enough space for it. You don't cut the tree down and then start all over again. If you're gonna do that, well, why not get NICEAG to put their wires in the ground? I know that's expensive, but if you really wanna get your town looking good, it's something you look into. I've been to towns, worked in towns where they've done this and they get these little small trees about this high, they're right in the way. The last thing you want is a bush right there. People get in and out of cars, somebody's gonna get run over. You take trees out, people increase the speed the vehicles are going through the town, there's more accidents. Older people need shade, when they walk through the town, they sit down somewhere, they sit down on a bench under a shade tree. Kids who are running around and
Mhm.
stuff, they need visibility, but they need shade. They
Right.
don't need a bush that's in the way of where you're standing. It's done all the time. They bring these things like Bradford pear trees, a terrible tree, and make lots of little pieces of fruit that fall down. They're small and they're just in the way. They are not shade trees. Shade trees are important to all communities across the country.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
And not only that, but it's costing the town a lot of money because you cut them down and now it's
You
gonna
start over.
cost money to start over. So it was just a foolish, horrible thing to do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Todd?
Two questions.
Yes.
We have had in the past, and do we still have, a 1-year renewable contract with Lamont Engineering?
I don't think so.
It's not long term.
We have to look into that, Mr. Todd. I don't recall
One-year contract
I
for
hope
what?
you do not sign a long-term contract.
with Lamont.
For what?
Secondly, I understand you have a proposal for the railroad crossing at Depot Street, where you're going to avoid utilizing the bridge and come up on the Margaretville side of that culvert with a road, and eliminate the double wide and utilize the arch bridge as foot only.
No, we don't have anything on yet, Mr. Todd. We are talking. We're looking at different options. We don't have nothing set on stone.
I wondered if you did.
No.
Thank you.
Madeline, thank you, Mr. Todd.
Two things I wanted to bring up. One was just a question. The building next door that's down, what's the plan right now for the building that was brought down?
Well, they're gonna be, as we all know, the holidays and everybody is behind. So they're gonna be cleaning that up completely. And they're gonna let it sit down for the minute until they raise money, and they're looking to put but again, we're looking long-term, a storefront and a building apartment upstairs.
That's the church?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And the other thing I just want to say, and I said this every meeting, I know what you're gonna say, Marilyn, but I just want it on the record, and I know the guy's term is running up, but again, Mr. Aaron Goldring, again, is not showing up. He doesn't show up for most meetings, and what angers me about this is that, we're told, well, the village doesn't have bulletin money. People are getting paid. They get paid and they don't show up. That is really awful. And there are people in this village, and I'm mentioning names, that are really, really struggling and poor. They're really poor and they're struggling. And that, I think it's really horrible. Horrible. Maybe I'm being too strong, but no, maybe I am. No, it's fine. That somebody's collecting a check that doesn't come to a meeting and is at home, wherever the hell they are, doesn't show up for meetings, and it's wrong. And I know that elections are coming up, and I'll leave it whatever, but I think it's really an awful, awful thing that this money's being wasted, and someone's, I'd like to get it, wouldn't everybody else like to get a check every month? Yeah? Okay, well, this is wrong. And I don't know, I know that technically the village doesn't have a law in place, like you have to attend a certain number of meetings, but this is just, I'm not gonna say anymore because I could really go off, but it's really so wrong, and we know it's wrong, and it's just, to me, it's just giving money to somebody that doesn't show up. It
How is
doesn't-
that individual gonna get input?
Thank you, Mary.
Well, I'm just
Paula?
saying, Miguel shows up to these meetings, you're showing up to these meetings, you're showing up, and what I'm saying is that, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, there might be stuff that I'm not privy to, because I'm not on the board, but I'm saying as a citizen that pays my taxes, I don't owe anybody any money here, I pay my bills, and I pay my taxes, and my water bill, and everything else, but money that I'm paying, and everyone in this room, or in this village, is paying money to this man every month and is getting a check. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Thank you, Madeline.
Right.
Here.
Paula?
And where's the other guy? Nobody cares about
We
that.
don't even know who he
They don't even
is,
care
that's
to
how
come.
awful.
They don't even care about the village, it's the truth. This board is all compromised. It's clear that it is.
That's an understatement.
It's clear that it is. I hate to say it, really, but it's clear.
The house next door, that's demolished. Did you say they have to raise money to finish getting it out of there?
Themselves, they're gonna get money. Yeah.
So it stays.
No, not to get, no. They're gonna clean it up for them to rebuild.
Oh, okay. They're raising money to put something there.
Yes.
Have they
Yes.
paid their back taxes on that building?
That actually was taken by the county, Barbara. And then they sold it back to him, to the church.
Okay. So they paid their taxes to
Yes.
the county?
Yes.
Has the asbestos issue just disappeared? I mean, that was what I was told for years. It was a huge, asbestos, and now it just got knocked down and all that.
No. See, the reason why we didn't wanted to get involved, and this has been told all along. If the village got involved, we have to go through all the extra expense, prevailing wage, all those things. When an individual takes it over and knocks it down, it's private. They fill out the permit and they knock it down and that's it. But when municipalities, the cost goes up. That's why we've never
But
gotten.
I also understood from Winifred, the prior mayors, that it was an asbestos issue. Asbestos
For the
costs, and it
government.
doesn't look like there's any, I don't see any permits or anything.
Well, it was for,
It was just
for,
pulled down and the wind's blowing, so, you know, it's kind of like the World Trade Center, you got all this asbestos blowing around.
yeah, that was,
So has anyone looked at that, or is, you know, I don't know, it just makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. That's something, you know, has been overlooked.
well, Carl is working on that. So that's how everything got done. Anybody else? Okay, so we're gonna close the floor. The next meeting is February 12th, 6 p.m. here. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for expressing your opinions. Have a great day, have a great night. Happy 2024 to all. All right, so motion to order the vouchers. Okay. Motion to adjourn the meeting. Close it. Okay. Thank you.
Are you glad the building was knocked down? Does that make you happy? Do you realize how hard that was? Do you realize how many people tried to get the building knocked down? I mean, but it's down. Let's celebrate it. It's a good thing. So was I. So was I.
What do you say?
Were you
Thank you, Abby, for
in
coming.
Lower Manhattan?
Thank you.
Were you in Lower Manhattan?
Yeah. Right on Parkland, right up from the next one.
Thank you for coming there, lady.
Everyone did, yeah. I was on Beach Street.
Yeah, it's over right behind there's a union building behind there, we're right behind that.
Yeah, that, I know that building. That's, I had art show.
Not Parkland, oh.
Yeah, the union, in the union hall. Yeah.
$100. $100 and $120 a month.
It's a beautiful, it's the municipal.
$120 a month.
Yeah. And then one of the big Westinghouse buildings.
We'll use that money to plant the trees.
Right across the street on the south side.
We'll use that money to plant the trees.